This is a poem called When Willie Wooed the Widow. When Willie wooed the widow, that was his big mistake, although he'd had his eye on her since he'd paid his respects at the wake. God knows he let the corpse go cold. He waited a year and a day until he made it his business to always be going her way. But her way was to talk about Johnny McCushla Mustor. For the dearly departed left her broken-hearted and longing for loving no more. But Willie was willing to wait a while. Willie could play the long game. A faint heart never won a fair maiden, or a widow, which is almost the same. So Willie would wilfully wander her way to Sunday Mass or to the shop, stalking her, walking together, talking, break her stride, to slow down and just stop, to see him standing there in front of her, the replacement for he who was gone. But she could only see through him to the other side and to John. When himself he would dress in his Sunday best, he'd hear John never had but one suit. When he complimented her shiny new shoes, it was Johnny preferred me in boots. When he asked for a drop of milk in his tea, it was Johnny always took his black. She once asked him what was his dearest wish, for hers was to have Johnny back. Speaking ill of the dead is not the done thing, as us well-brung-up gentlemen know. But on several such occasions, Willie was ready to give it a go. It was time to play his ace in the hole, for he surely had one winning suit. For Willie had wonderful, wild, wavy hair. The late John had been bald as a coot. So Willie came pounding at her door like he'd once seen John Wayne do. Took off his cap and shook out his hair like in the ads for the shampoo. Oh, and she was moved, but not to admiration, but to abject sorrow instead, for it reminded her of how she'd comb her own in her reflection on Johnny's head. Admitting he was a loser, Willie sought out a boozer and a barman that he could confide in. Willie was not quite a beaten man, but he'd taken one hell of a hiding. For although he'd had his eye on her since he'd paid his respects at the wake, when Willie wooed the widow, that was his big mistake. For it's a difficult job to compete with the first when you're just a second edition. But trying to outdo a dead man, talk about stiff competition.